That's it, guys. I'm back, okay? I've had a lot of real life stuff going on, but it's kind of sorted itself out. And all I want to do is get back into this beautiful game. I love EVE Online. I love the players. I love the game. I just, well, love everything about it, to be honest. And I want to start making videos for you lot. And yeah, I am basically just back. And since I've come back, I have found out that CCP have not long tweaked the EdenCom ships, in particular the weapon system. So I'm going to take the frigate here out and see if that change has actually made things any better. I am, of course, Disowned Hero, and welcome back to another super awesome, mega wicked cool video. I well thought I was going to say that wrong. It's been so long since I've said that, I thought I'm going to mess that line up, but nailed it, got it on the first shot. So yeah, I am back, guys. As I said, a lot of real life stuff going on, but it's kind of sorted itself out. I want to start making videos again. I've got a few videos lined up. I also have a few videos lined up for the EVE Online Tutorials channel, which I'll have linked down below. So check those guys out. It's a cool group of guys all making videos together. And yeah, I'm going to start posting some stuff there. But right now, we're going to take this ship out and, well, just see if it's still any good or if it's still something that could be awesome, but just isn't. I've got to get the name up here because I haven't flown these ships in ages. I forget what they're called. So yeah, we're in the EdenCom frigate, which is called the Skybreaker. And I'm not going to lie, I was having a little poke around the ship before, so testing it out. And I spotted there's a new skin here, which I have not got. Look, can I make that any bigger? Look at that, guys. I always said I like the style of these ships. I love the idea of them. I love like the lightning coming out these like antennas. I absolutely love that. I don't know why. It takes me back to my childhood. It's almost like something off the old Power Rangers. Any of you guys remember like the original Power Rangers series from back when like I was a kid anyway? And yeah, this would be what the little robot thing they used to pull out would look like. Same colours, same style and everything. I absolutely love it. So I'm going to have to invest in that. But yeah, I'm losing my train of thought. We're going to take this ship out. We're going to see if it's any good. I'm pretty sure I've done a video on this particular ship, like the frigate, in the past. If I have, I'll link it up there if I'm pointing the right way. Again, I forget all this kind of stuff, but it will link it up there if I have. Quick rundown. These ships work a little bit differently to all the other ships. They are very, very low DPS, very, very slow shooting ships, but they hit like 5 targets at a time, provided they're all close enough. CCP have just changed that. They no longer hit 5 targets, they now hit 10. So no change in actual damage, no change in the rate of fire or anything. They now will just like chain and hit up to 10 ships. And if we open up the fitting window here and just have a look before we actually go into, where's that one? There it is. Before we go into the actual fitting, if we look up here and we have a look at the offense, we can see it's only 106 DPS, which when you consider this thing can hit up to 5 ships, would in theory on paper kind of times that number by 5. So you're actually doing like 500 DPS, you know, if it was chaining to everything. Now you can hit 10. Again, on paper, that's now doing 1,000 DPS for like every shot you do, pretty much. Because I think what these every second, I forget. I don't know, but it's doing 106 or 1,060 DPS if it changed to 10 things. So let's get this thing out. Quick rundown of the fit there if you want to see it. I mean, I'm still tweaking with it, but I believe a few other guys have said so this is a good way to go. Small Vorton Projector 2. Guess them C-type. Everyone said that you need to have a faction. I went a step further and went for the, whatever this one's called, the blue one. So at least a faction wrapper on this, guys. Okay, it's not going to work otherwise. You need something fancy in the shields to keep it alive. I've got a Republic Fleet small cap battery. Yeah, that thing there, afterburner. And then in the lows, I have 3. That's right, 3 Vorton tuning system 2s. Now these essentially work the same as like heat sinks and stuff. They increase the damage, and well, as you can see, even with 3 of them, with the T2 guns and skills, which are pretty high, pretty much everything for this is at 5. If it's not at 5, it's at least at 4. That covers all the damage and everything. And even with 3 of them, I am still getting just 106 DPS, and of course we've got some rigs over here, so very low DPS, especially when you look in that fitting window. And a quick one as well, if we look at the price, this is a 379 million ISK ship, so it's not a cheap one just to be messing around with, especially when you look at those numbers. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this ship out and do something I think it does really well, and that is high-sec combat sites. I can do any high-sec combat site in this thing, doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter what it's called. I know I can just, if I can see it on my probe scanner here, I can warp to it and I can do it. In fact, there we go, there's one there. Joe, but that's not really something to brag about, because pretty much any frigate, within reason, Joe, as long as it's set up correctly kind of thing, any frigate can run these high-sec sites. It's just this thing, it absolutely nails them, okay? It doesn't just run them, it smashes them. It's like, oh, well, you'll see now, actually. We'll warp into this one. I'm just going to start locking things up and firing away. One thing with this ship, it has a very close range ammunition. You're going to be 14 km away, which is a little bit of a pain, but, you know, bit of a afterburner on there and it's fine. But if we just let loose here and start shooting at things, you'll see, even though I'm aiming at this and shooting at this, I'm actually damaging lots of things as well, which, like I say, all makes sense in the grand scheme of things. The only downside being that I am only doing 106 DPS to everything I do hit, so I might be hitting 10 things, but I'm not hitting them very hard. Okay, so that's just something to remember. So we'll just quickly, what happens with this ship actually is, because I go through targets that quick, I spend most of my time trying to lock things up. You're best picking the what are these things called again? The missile battery, or the, what are these called again? Sentries? Yeah, you're best picking the sentry or the ship with the most, the most amount of health and shooting that. Because if you're locking up frigates and shooting frigates, every frigate's going to die with like one shot, and you'll spend most of your time locking things up rather than actually shooting things. So as you can see there, this site, it's just melted away. I've done very little. All I've done is lock up 2 missile batteries and just let rip at them. And as you can see, it just nails through things. The high-sec sites nails it. Right, so on to the drawbacks of this ship. Okay, and I'm sorry if this video doesn't make much sense. I'm still trying to get into the swing of actually making videos, so hopefully the structure of that will get better when I start making a few more. But yeah, onto the drawbacks of this ship. One, like I said, it's very, very expensive. 2, it doesn't do a lot of DPS. Now, it's okay saying like, oh, I'm hitting 10 ships, so on paper I'm doing 1,000 DPS if I hit everything. It's like, yeah, but you're still only doing 106 DPS to every ship you hit. So for example, one volley there, if I was in, say, a coercer with 8 small blasters, which would cost like 10 million as opposed to 300 million, I would have killed that destroyer I had locked up with 1 shot, and then the next ship with 1 shot, and the next one with 1 shot. Whereas this takes them out a little bit quicker, I think, than targeting ships and taking them out one by one. But it's, I mean, there's a frigate there, it's just survived. Do you know what I mean? It's not doing enough damage, and that's not really a drawback until you start going above, the high-sec combat sites. Like I say, high-sec combat sites can be done by pretty much anything. You can go into a high-sec combat site in anything, and you should pretty much be fine. I have ran DD level 1, 2, and I'm pretty sure I've done a 3 in this ship. But it was not quick. There were ships in there that would come in, even if they were just a cruiser, which was a bit tanky or maybe had its own rep. And this thing would just be hitting it over and over and over and slowly chip it away and chip it away and chip it away and chip it away and chip it away. And it's like, if I was in a normal ship, it would be dead after like 5 shots. But in this, it just keeps going and going and going. It takes a lifetime to actually take some of the more tankier ships out. Another drawback is the ammunition. I mean, price, yeah, ammunition does come under price, because it is expensive. And like I say, if you're shooting 1 volley and the lightning's hitting 10 things and destroying 10 things in 2 shots, brilliant. So you've got your money's worth out of the ammunition there. But I mean, how much is it these days? Oh, it's not actually that bad. 11k. Oh, it used to be a lot more than that. But even 11k a shot, you know, if you've had to take 10 shots at something, which would take another ship 2 shots, it would cost that ship like 1,000 disc. It's going to cost you like 100,000. So it is a lot more expensive than some other alternatives on the side of ammunition anyway. And yeah, the fact that these things don't really have a use since they are so underpowered, people tend not to buy them, which means people tend not to build them, which means people tend not to run faction loads of points to get them, so it's always going to be expensive. It's not like the Triglavian ships, which were brilliant and they were overpowered when they first came out, so everyone wanted one. So loads of people, all the industry guys and that, they all went out and they were all nailing it, and the prices came down and down and down and down as the market was swamped with them. These are the other way round. No one's buying them, so everyone's like, well, we're not going to make them. So it's always, until they figure out and make these ships better and people start using them, in which case people start building them, they're always going to be expensive. And I've just realised how fast I'm actually talking, so I'll try and slow down a little bit. That was something in my earlier videos I used to do all the time, was talk too fast. It's because my accent, being like not far from Liverpool, it's naturally a fast accent. So yeah, we'll try and breathe and slow that down. Yeah, so we'll carry on with the drawbacks then of this ship. These ships in low sec and in null sec, these ships will hit friendlies. So if you're friendly, you might target up like a full load up here, 7, or what is it for the frigate? About 7, I think it can lock. You'll lock up 7 NPCs or 7 enemy ships. You'll shoot your fancy lightning bolt out, and it might hit those 7 ships, but you'll also have your friends shouting at you through Discord telling you to stop shooting him, because you've got no control over who you are actually hitting. Not a big deal, or not as much of a big deal now, because they did kind of integrate the weapon with your safety. It used to be you had to have your safety on red to use it. Now if I have my safety on green and fire in high sec, it's not going to change anything, obviously, which would make me suspect or make me a criminal. But when you go to low sec, you pretty much always have that on yellow, because you're obviously going to be shooting at other people, which means that you can now shoot your mates as well. And if you're living in null, then I'm pretty sure they're just permanently on red. There'd be no reason not to have it on red. So yeah, you are going to hit friendlies, and it does happen. I was out in the Stormbringer. Is it the battleship? I forget the name. I was out in the Stormbringer, seeing if I could... Oh, sorry, Thunderchild. Seeing if I could run the level 4 missions. And I had 1 or 2 people with me. And someone shouted up, oh, you've just killed me. And I was like, oh, hi, yeah, very funny. And no, it turned out I'd actually killed our salvager. He was on grid, salvaging away, doing his own thing, avoiding being shot at by the enemies, only to have me accidentally shoot an NPC, which linked to another NPC, which linked to a structure, which then linked to him and blew him up in like 1 or 2 shots. So it does happen, which is why I don't think you see these in fleets very often. The idea of hitting like 5 or 6 enemies from an enemy fleet at the same time, or 10 now since they've changed it, sounds brilliant. But the fact that you could only be hitting 3 enemies, but then 7 of your own friends or allies, makes them a little bit too unpredictable, which is why I don't think you see them too much. And that's pretty much all I've got to say on this. Just to sum it up, CCP, I like the fact that you're trying to make these things better. And on paper, having to hit 10 enemies instead of 5 does kind of double its DPS. So it is doing, well, it used to do 5, well, according to my fit anyway, and obviously skills and stuff. 106 to 1 ship. It used to be able to just hit 5, so that's like 500 and something. Now it can hit 10, so technically it's like 1060 DPS I'll be doing if a chain 2 actually hit 10 things. Again, sounds brilliant on paper, 1000 DPS from a frigate, and yes, it's expensive, but 1000 DPS from a frigate, but it's not really, because you're still only doing 106 DPS to everything you hit, and it's a slow firing weapon. I don't know, I want to find a use for this, but I still can't. After all this time, all I can say is the frigate nails high set combat sight, which pretty much anything can do anyway, and it can run up to level, I'm sure, I'll have to check, but I'm sure it's a level 3 DED sight I've done solo in the frigate. It did do it. It wasn't particularly quick or anything, but it did do it. The cruiser, I've done the same with the cruiser. I kind of put a mobile depot in it with scanner probes, and I'll scan down D&D sites, and again, it does them. Whether it's better than, say, a Gila, or Gila, however you want to say that one, or Healer, if you're weird. So whether it's better than that, probably not for the price. And don't even get me started on the battleship, guys. The battleship the battleship can't even. It's the only battleship in the entire game that cannot run a level 4 mission solo. And I have ran, and this is the Sisters of Eve missions I usually do because I get bored and I like to try out different ships. And I'm like, hey, it's thrown into a level 4 mission. It'll test the tank. It'll test just generally how it'll get on. And honestly, I've never used a rattlesnake. I've got a train, but I can't use it. I've never used it. I have ran level 4 missions in a Nightmare, not uncommon. I have ran level 4 missions in a Balgorn. Like, it would do them. It wasn't particularly quick and wasn't very efficient, but it done them no problem of dying or anything. It would just work its way through them. I've used where's the Mordus Legion one? There, I've used a Barghest. Very expensive ship to be used in level 4 missions. I've used a Leshak. Leshak has its drawbacks. Its range in particular is terrible. You spend most of your time slow boating around. I've used the Sisters of Eve one. Basically, I've used every battleship and never had an issue doing level 4 missions. It was just a case of how quick can it do them. When it comes to the EdenCom ship, this thing here, I mean, I'm not maxed out in it, but even with my skills, I think ship being level 3, I think most of the large weapon stuff is probably about, it's T2, so like mastery level 3 maybe, or the specialization level 3. It couldn't do it. It physically did not have enough damage to kill most of the things in a level 4 mission. You would sit there and I'd be firing at it, and it takes a long time for the large Vorton projector to cycle, and you'd be waiting, I'm waiting, and you'd fire again, only to see that the ship's actually repaired itself and got back down to exactly where it was, and then repaired itself and got back down exactly to where it was. It was I physically couldn't do it. I could not get the Thunderchild to do a level 4 mission, and I know a lot of you are probably shouting at me now saying, oh, well, it's got a full drone bay, use drones. No, because your weapon kills your own drones, and there's no way of stopping that. If I have my Thunderchild with 5 even light drones shooting at an enemy, and then my Vorton projector chains to that enemy, it will chain to my own drones, and it will blow them up pretty damn quick. So that doesn't really work either. Yeah, I'm going to leave that video here, guys. Like I say, I'm going to try and get back into Eve a little bit more. Life's still a little bit up and down, but I have a bit more free time now, and I really want to get back into doing this. So yeah, I should be on a little bit more. I'm going to be doing videos from my channel, videos for the Eve Online tutorials as well. So check that out again. Link in the description down below. And I'm just going to generally get things back up and running. I don't know if you can tell, but I only have one light now because I managed to break the other one. I've also lost the filter off my microphone, the little pop filter, so I don't even know if I used to have one. I'm sure I used to have one. God knows where it's gone. So yeah, hopefully this sounds okay. I've got a new computer, so I've lost all of my editing stuff, like all my end screens and that, but I'm going to build it all back up, so get back into it and just see what happens. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you did like this video, then consider hitting that subscribe button. I've not uploaded in a while, but I'm going to start doing it again, so hit that button. And yeah, I forget what I usually say to end videos now. I'll have to look at one of my old videos to figure that out. What do I usually say? Oh, I have no idea. I'm just going to say bye. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you right here in another video. No, it sounds like Markiplier. I don't know. See you soon. Bye bye.